Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Crypto Marketing Insights with me, Yasha Harari. This is a quick post just to go over a couple of things that are happening in the market for you and relative to how they're impacting the world of marketing. So as you can see here in the top 100 on crypto and CoinMarketCap, we've got $130 billion market and 52.1% BTC dominance, so it's up a tenth of a percent from yesterday. But you can see here, basically, as usual, all coins are tied to Bitcoin, at least the majority. And we can see sideways movement there on a lot of coins over the past couple of days since that, kind of strange up and down. But here you go. There are some gainers like ABBC coin, which, well, more than doubled yesterday with 103% gain. There is a crypto gain for you, right? Well, so what could be doing that? Look into that one. But even Steam gained nicely yesterday. And Nano was a little bit up, but basically flat. Theta also. But yeah, we're seeing some big motions there for some coins, but largely speaking, it's pretty moderate. Now, there was a lot of noise about XRP. Right, XRP being listed on Coinbase finally, and that noise involved the team of people from Neutrino, which is a company that Coinbase had bought, and then it turns out that Neutrino was stacked with employees who had come from a hacker group called Hacking Team. Well, isn't that nice? At least they're forthright about who they are, and those hackers and I guess an intelligence team that knows how to, do things behind the curtain. The question was this company, which specializes in selling spyware to government agencies, were they somehow involved in the Coinbase listing situation with XRP, with the whole pump, dump, repump, redump, the whole, all that stuff that was happening. And it turns out that, despite the fact that they have a pretty shady background, the company called Neutrino, all of those three top people in that group, who go by the name Giancarlo Russo, Marco Valeri, and Alberto Ornaghi, or I hope I'm pronouncing those correctly, they were all part of Hacking Team. And their work involved illicit eavesdropping, right, and facilitating human rights abuses by selling hacking tools to authoritarian regimes. Okay, so they're pretty scummy. That's my technical term for people who do that kind of work. I don't care if they're doing a good thing. Like, there's a lot of good people doing scummy work. That's scummy work. They might be great people, but that is scummy work. Even if it's necessary in defense of a country. And I understand that very often it is. Doesn't matter. It's still scummy work. That's not the kind of work you want to be doing if you're marketing something. And if you are running a company like that, you need some serious help with marketing. So please get in touch with our firm and we'll set you right. Get you on the straight and narrow if you want. And more importantly, figure out the proper story arc for you if you are that kind of company doing Neutrino type work. We tend to stay away from companies like that. But of course, we've had companies like that over the decades work with us. And we tend to tell them that if they want to do, proper marketing, it is not in their best interest to make it very obvious that they're doing this kind of work, and they should, of course, keep that out of the news as much as possible. But hey, when you get involved in an affair or a scandal like this, where you might be impacting crypto markets, well, it's kind of going to happen. You're going to get exposed, right? And in this case, Neutrino got exposed because basically their work related to all of this brought their names to light, and probably not in a way that they would have liked, right? I'm sure they would have much rather done this all under the radar and not have to worry about basically who is looking at them as a profile after having been involved in Coinbase and everything else. And was that at all, did that impact anything to do with the prices seen recently on the block, on Coinbase? No, we're not seeing that, right? We're not seeing that that was actually affecting it. Uh, it's arguable. Again, why did Coinbase have to buy a company that specializes in hacking and in developing spy tools? First of all, anytime you're a large company, you might have interests that diverge from what seem like the norm or what seem obvious. It could very well be that the tools that they are developing for Coinbase are actually not at all what they are used to making. Right now, technically speaking, Coinbase says that with Neutrino's technology, they'll help make cryptocurrencies safer and more accessible by helping track thieves and terrorists. Right, that's their idea. But of course, they specialize in doing the opposite. So yes, can they do the opposite of what they do very well? Maybe, sure, it's just programming. But is there no chance that there's any kind of weird activity going on at Coinbase that you might question and that you might say, hey, I'm not sure this is the right way to market Coinbase's image and Coinbase's operations by bringing on a team of, hackers who've done a lot of business with some very shady people and organizations. And you want to be Coinbase, the kind of public on-ramp face of the crypto world, which is basically what they are, at least in the US market. It seems very, very just so full of questions here. So full of questions in terms of what is it, the answers are not yet all brought to light. Again, we'll find out more and, of course, bring that to you. But we do find it very strange, at least we have to point that out, that Coinbase should need to buy such an operation and that it should come to light that this operation was purchased by Coinbase within hours of XRP being listed and having their price spike, dump, spike again, and then retrace a little bit. And is there no connection? We don't know. We're going to assume there's no connection. We're going to assume that people who did the reporting and a bunch of different sources kind of pieced together the dots, connected the dots without actually hard evidence. That's our estimate at this point. But they are both stories related to Coinbase, right? It is a fact that both of these things did happen right around the same time. So, time will tell, as always. We'll just say that. But in terms of marketing impact, you couldn't pick a worse story arc if you were Coinbase trying to actually get XRP listed and pumped, right? If they wanted to do that, they sure did it the wrong way. And it's not the first time that a coin they've listed has fallen, right? So they don't necessarily, that premium, that old notion of the Coinbase premium, of jacking up prices once they get listed, to be honest, that is a fable from about a year or two ago when that was maybe relevant in one or two cases, like Bitcoin Cash, right? That's about the only time, really, that they actually pumped the price. And then, or that the price pumped when it went on Bitcoin. Every other time it's speculation. Oh, if you get listed on Bitcoin, your price is sure to pump. Like with 0x, it went up a little, but then it came right back down. Are they a good place to pump a coin? Maybe, but evidence so far does not show it to be the case. At least not if you're interested in holding a particular coin long term. If you're just in it for a quick pump and dump, again, even that, not a sure thing with Coinbase listings at this point. And again, Coinbase is falling far from the top of the heap of exchanges. What once used to be seen as the leading exchange and the most obvious leader that would continue to be so has been just wiped out compared to its, competition. Like just Binance and, Huobi and BitHome and DEX and IDEX and DX and all of these other really great exchanges that are centralized or decentralized. Sorry, they just blow Coinbase away, which has such horribly limited offerings compared to all the other exchanges, and they can tell you that they want quality crypto. Well, first of all, who are they to decide what is quality crypto since it's such a new space? Okay, you want to keep out the outright scams, fine, but it just seems a little lame, and they're coming late to the party, and I don't know if we're going to see Coinbase in 5 years. I really don't at this point. I think it might just go away or get bought out, like as a small fish. Oh yeah, we got Coinbase too. Like I'm not sure it's necessary at this point to have Coinbase. You may as well just fold it up into a different exchange, frankly, or improve its offerings, make them less shady, and then yeah, we can talk. But do I use Coinbase still from time to time? Sometimes I find it interesting. Whatever, you get good deals there. But generally speaking, I mean, of course, don't keep anything on Coinbase. Don't keep anything on any exchanges, right? Proof of keys. If you don't have your keys, it's not your money. It's not your crypto, right? If it's your keys, if you know your keys and you got all your money on your wallet and you know your keys and nobody else knows it, then it's yours. If you don't have that situation, you're probably losing money, or you might eventually. So don't do that, please. And make sure that you always keep your hardware wallet safe and secure. Second quick article here, real quick. I'm just going to mention this for 2 minutes. Ethereum. This comes right out of CoinDo. Of course, all the links are on the bottom. And of course, all this is not financial advice. I usually have to say that. I'm not a financial advisor, right? Do your own research, blah, blah, blah. Don't invest in stuff you can't afford to lose. Because you probably will, because you probably suck at investing. That's my friendly advice for you. All right? It's Thursday, so let's get real here, people. You're not on the weekend yet. I'm still going to give it to you the way it is. Ethereum, Constantinople, and St. Petersburg, hard forks. They're supposed to be activated today when the block height reaches 7,080,000. Now, question is, will it actually happen? Right? There have been delays before. From what I can tell, the latest news is that it is still on, but it has not yet rolled out as far as I can see. We're talking live here, so if we see anything change here, we definitely want to hear about it. If you guys see any changes in the live setup, let us know. If you see anything happening with Ethereum, let us know. We know that there have been delays in the past when it comes to Ethereum, as recently as like a month ago or 2 months ago, and everybody wanted to see that Constantinople update happen, but the postponement, which was like, it was like a month and a half ago in mid-January, the postponement did not get received well, and a lot of people were expecting some bullish action for the Ethereum coin, but he ended up seeing a rather negative experience as a result of it for a while. So hopefully this time it won't disappear again as a result of bugs found in the last second. But if it does happen, even if it does happen, of course there's no guarantee that the price action will be bullish, and especially not after the fact that it failed last time. So a lot of people, even if you convince them that it actually happened this time, will still be, unimpressed and will not buy in as a result. And that's what you get when you build up hype and let everybody down. So lesson to Mr. Buterin and his team. If you're going to upgrade something, shut up and upgrade. Don't announce it until it's done. Unless it's something you need to announce for some technical reason. But if you don't need to announce it, don't do it. Lesson to be learned. Look at Microsoft and look at Apple. How often does Microsoft make an announcement and miss it? And everyone is unimpressed by their activity. Versus how often does Apple make an announcement and a deadline? They don't give dates at Apple, right? They just say, yeah, whatever, we're working on stuff. And then when they got a big announcement, they just tell everybody, hey, we got a big announcement coming. And if they have a date, they give you a date. If they don't actually have a date confirmed and that can't be undone, they don't give you the date, right? When they announced the iPhone or the iPad or the whatever, they didn't say come to this place on such and such a date until it was really confirmed. As far as I know, correct me if I'm wrong, if anybody sees in the research that you do anywhere, have you ever seen an Apple product that was visibly pronounced beforehand, like since the invention of the iPhone, okay? Or even the iPod, that was before, right? Or even the iMac before that. The little Macs that came in, one device unit, a one blob unit that you would set on your desktop and look like a little screen. Since then, even, right? Have you ever heard, and even probably before then, have you ever heard of a Mac product that was like, yeah, we're coming out on such and such a date with an announcement, and then it didn't happen? I honestly can't remember that. And if it's happened, it's so rare that you don't remember it because that's not how they operate, right? I'm not saying they're the greatest thing at all. They're absolutely not. I mean, I love Mac just like I love Lenovo or Dell or Samsung or Acer. I love all these tech companies. I mean, they're all great, really. They're all terrible and they're all wonderful at the same time, right? They're bringing us amazing things, but at the same time, they have problems like all companies. But Apple operates in a way that I find to be smarter, definitely from a marketing perspective, right? They have sleeker design, sleeker storytelling, and they don't screw up with datelines. They tell you we're coming, but they don't tell you exactly when. And then when it's actually confirmed, they do. So this is the same thing for Ethereum. They should learn to do the same thing from Apple, right? That's another thing, by the way, that I like about Bitcoin compared to Ethereum, is that with Bitcoin, there is no organizational management at the top to screw things up like this, right? When there's an update on Bitcoin, you bloody know it because the community decided it, not some managers who can then back off at the last minute, right? It's done by community. It's way more organic. It's infinitely more organic than anything else that's out there at the moment. I would love it if there were other coins that were just as organic. I know there are, actually, but I mean just as organic and decentralized and popular and everything else. And we run one, so I know all about that. Yeah. Anyway, so I just wanted to tell you guys that quick news. And then the last thing here. So Ethereum, good luck. I hope it works. I hope we get a proper, fork and that we actually see the upgrade work and that the tech will be better. But now the last thing here is, oh, look at that big old ugly picture of Vladimir Putin in Invest in Blockchain. That is not a flattering picture. I don't know why they put that of this guy. It's kind of gross, actually. But there you go. Mr. Putin has put Putin is putting a there you go, deadline on crypto regulation for Russia. He wants Russia to basically have a July 1st deadline for regulating cryptocurrency. Okay? He believes that cryptos pose a serious risk. Ta-da-da. What a surprise there. And that he wants to launch an oil-backed cryptocurrency. Right? And he wants his authorities, his financial authorities, to make specific regulatory frameworks for Russia. This is just another perfect example of a dinosaur trying to control the future. And he's not an idiot. He's a very scary dinosaur. This guy's a T-Rex, okay, or a Velociraptor or whatever. And he's pretty dangerous without cryptocurrency, okay? Despite the fact that the Russian economy is in the dumps in the last number of years because of the price of oil falling. And he foolishly, like Venezuela, thought the good times would just roll and just kept stacking up the rubles. And instead of investing them wisely, like most authoritarian idiots, Putin, who I consider to be an authoritarian idiot, despite his dangerousness and intellect and all that crap. Oh, sorry, that's not a French word, is it? Putin is a bad man. Putin is a guy who wants to control everything in Russia, and that's what he does, and he does it with brutal force. And his interest in the marketing arc, he doesn't care. He wants to employ the tools at his disposal, the forces at his authority, to create a form of cryptocurrency backed by oil that he can then use to somehow, take over more of the world's financial resources and be more of a threat to the United States. And also at the same time, be more of a threat to Europe, and especially Germany, to whom they supply an enormous amount of energy, right? So, what's the deal with Putin? Anyway, Why does he care so much about cryptocurrency when he's got all that oil and all those guns and all those nukes? Well, Russia's really poor. Really poor, okay? Despite what you see on the news about, or culture documentaries about the great times in Russia and all the wonderful life that people are living in Russia since the wall came down and, they opened up and got rid of the Soviet Union. The fact is the average Russian still has it pretty bad compared to the average European or the average American or even the average, Japanese, okay? They're not having a good time in Russia for most part. They're dealing with the legacy of a crumbled Soviet Union taken over by a bunch of unruly gangsters who are playing to the rules of a brutal dictator that happens to be a former KGB agent who happens to be Vladimir Putin, right? It is not a pleasant place to be. It is the quintessential definition of a corrupt oligarchy. And if you are suffering in Russia as a result of anything that's happened in the past 30 years, you're probably not pleased with Putin, right? And you probably don't give a damn about his cryptocurrency. I can see that. But you should definitely be thinking about, if you're in Russia, ways to use cryptocurrency that are not the crypto Russian coin and that are going to actually be real cryptos that are not tied to a centralized state that is as corrupt and, frankly, nefarious as Russia, and that is backing a digital currency with dinosaur bones. Right? That's what oil is. Petrified, liquefied dinosaur bones. Not petrified, liquefied dinosaur bones. That's what petroleum is, right? That's the huge chunk of it, right? And we're just blasting through it like it's going out of style, and the Russians want to blast through it faster and farther than ever before. At least Putin does. So, when you see that kind of news, that Putin is doing this, bear in mind who he is, why he's doing it, what his real interests are, and what he's likely to do if he actually gets the crypto regulation he wants and launches this little oil-backed crypto idea that he has. Which hopefully none of you will ever invest in, because frankly, that's just a terrible sounding thing to invest in a Vladimir Putin coin, frankly. Why would you want to give money to that guy? He's a killer, and he's a brutal dictator. Despite being called a president by his people, he is a brutal dictator, right? And he uses force against reporters. He kills reporters. That's who Vladimir Putin is. Don't forget that. This guy defends dictators with his own guns and power. He's a scumbag. I'm saying that. Yes, I'm not afraid about it because I have the right to speak freely, and he has no influence here. So, may he fail miserably. That is my opinion. May we in the crypto space who actually care about crypto succeed. May we all have a terrific time. By all means, I gotta go. So by all means, leave a like, share, comment, whatever you want in the area here. If you're just a YouTube visitor, and if you're from our members lounge, then you know where to leave the comments there, and we always get back to you on those. But if you're visiting us on YouTube, we're very glad you did. Thanks. Come again. Hope you've enjoyed this episode as much as we've enjoyed punching it out. Hope to see you again next time on Crypto Marketing Insights. And of course, be sure to hit that subscribe button and hit the bell notification in order to hear from us when we punch out new videos. Until next time, folks, you know what? Take care.